Hi you guys, it is I, the Concrete Catwalk, and I am back with another video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and subscribe, and also go back and check out some of my previous videos. And like I said previously, one of the things that I was going to do was do some shout outs to businesses that I work closely with and have friends who are invested in those businesses. So I want to give a shout out, and one of those businesses today is aneyefulevent. This is one of the most ultimate businesses if you are looking for an event planner extraordinaire. Look no further than aneyefulevent. Kim, the owner, is fantastic. She works with all types of budgets. She has a masterful eye for looking at a venue and laying out exactly what it's going to look like, how beautiful it's going to be, what it is that you need, what it is that you are interested in having, all within the parameters of your budget. So, aneyefulevent, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link below, and I'll also leave her email address so that if you're interested in having someone to plan your next baby shower, your next birthday party, sweet 16s, wedding events, anything that you could possibly imagine. She is the one who can do it. Aneyefulevent, and I will leave the link below. So shout out, Kim girl, hey. Always a pleasure to work with you. So, but getting into what we're here for today, one of the things I keep getting from a lot of folks is, oh my God, that must have been so super expensive. Where did you get that? Oh my gosh. And it got me kind of thinking. It got me thinking about how this whole thing works when it comes down to being on a budget and wanting to look fashionable. So I kept thinking, and I'm like, well, what can we talk about to make this work? And it just popped in my head. It's having big style on a small budget. And everybody has, different thresholds as far as what they're willing to spend and when they're willing to spend it and how they're willing to spend it. So I wanted to have a discussion about exactly what that means. What exactly is big fashion on a small budget? And I think what it is it's working two ways. It's working with what you have already existing in your closet, and it's also working with filling in the gaps with the things that you've discovered that might be missing in between. That is the link to pull your closet together for a seamless, interchangeable, I can work this skirt with that blouse kind of look. So a lot of people ask, they're like, well, how do you do it? How do you do it? I think one of the biggest things that I think anybody should focus on, especially in their wardrobe, is number one, you have to get real in your wardrobe. Me personally, I prefer to turn my wardrobe over every 18 months to 2 years. And I try to stay within that 18-month window period, because a lot of the times, we all know, we're guilty of it. Some fast fashion manages to creep its way into our closets. And while it's great and it's that piece that might be on trend, sometimes those pieces don't necessarily have the longevity that we're looking for. So I think one of the first things is really wise to do when you're trying to look for, a big fashion look on a small budget, or big style on a small budget, is you got to get real in your closet. You have to clean out the things that you don't want. And it's super hard. I struggle with it constantly. When I just go in the closet, I'm like, well, no. Maybe in a year and a half, maybe in 2 years, maybe 5 months from now, when I'm 5 pounds lighter, I still might be able to fit that. But, who am I fooling? Who am I fooling? I'm fooling myself. So I've gotten into the habit of purging those things that don't work, those things that are not going to be integratable with each other, and not just that, but throughout the season, meaning I can wear something that I would normally want to wear in the summer. All I have to do is throw on a turtleneck sweater under it, and I can rock it in the wintertime. So, and the same goes for sandals or anything else. Things have to be interchangeable. They have to be able to work with each other. So that's one of the biggest things that you want to take a look at. The neon lights. Ooh, sorry. That's one of the biggest things you want to take a look at in going through this journey of determining, you know, where do you stand as far as, you know, your budget versus what you already have available in your closet, and what truly do you need to spend on in order to make that link. I also realized too, and this is I don't know what it is, but, and everyone says this, and I just think it's like 100% fact, and that is, you have to have classics in your closet. You have to have staple items, like, and I mean this, you have to have a classic, let's just say a tuxedo jacket, or just a classic black blazer, or a classic black pencil skirt, or a classic pinstriped skirt or a suit, or you have to have a LBD. You have to have those staple things, because staple classics you can build upon. You can, if someone calls you in the 11th hour and they're like, hey, you know, let's go to the opera tonight. And I'm using this example because this actually happened to me. I had a friend of mine who had tickets for an opera, and this was maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. And I mean, he literally called me 20 minutes before he was going to pick me up, and he said, I'm asking you to go because I know you can get dressed and be ready by the time I get to your house. And you know what? He was right. So I went in my closet, I grabbed a little black dress, I threw on whatever other accessories I thought would make it pop, and I had, at the time, a vintage fur shrug that I put on top, and it worked. I got so many compliments on that look, and it took me all of 5 minutes and a little bit of lipstick and an updo, and I was out the door. So classics, keep your closet moving. So if you need it and you need to grab it, make sure you've got classics, because again, those are things that you can dress up or dress down, or you can put a spin on it, and it'll give you a look that you didn't even expect you would end up with. And a lot of the times, those are the looks that get people's attention. Not that you're looking for that, but usually those are the things that people end up complimenting the most. So I think that is also a part of when you're looking for big style on a budget. Look for classics that are at a reasonable price point, or look for that one classic item that may be an above average splurge, but it's going to give you loads and loads and loads of years of use just by simply maintaining it, and it is in a form that is not going to be out of style or out of fashion in the near future. So that is a definite that I always look to see is a balance in my own personal wardrobe. One of the things that I had to learn in terms of being able to have a nice, healthy wardrobe on a budget is to limit my amount of online shopping. I love to be up at 1 in the morning and I'm like looking like, oh my God, ooh, this is really cute. Ooh. I have actually had to learn to curtail that. And the reason why I've had to learn to curtail that is because of the fact that a lot of the times when you buy something sight unseen and you haven't had the chance to really touch it and get into it and realize if it'll work for you. And mind you, I'm talking things that, not necessarily vintage things, because I think, you know, things that are from another era or another time frame, I think it's easier to try to marriage into, oh, can I fit this or can I not? Because you kind of are aware of the measurements and you know that vintage runs a whole lot smaller. So it's an easy yes or no. But I'm talking real-time fashion where you decide that you want it and it comes to your house and you put it on and you know you're a solid size 8 and this says it's an 8 and you're thinking it's a great fit. And what do you find out? Oh, it fits like a 6. Okay, so then you've wasted time and the shipping, and now you have to make the trudge either back to the store or back to the post office to get that joker back where it belongs, because it doesn't work. And I've gotten burned that way countless times, and not just from clothes, but from shoes too. I've learned my lesson. I try to curtail and shop online sparingly. If it's a bag or if it's a hat or something that I know is going to just be an automatic fit, yay, thumbs up for me. But I try to shop sparingly. And speaking of the budget, I try to limit the amount of money that I'm going to be willing to spend. And I curtail it usually to a monthly limit. And I say to myself, okay, if it's gonna be this one particular item that you want this month, you know, it might be a great pair of shoes, or it might be a sweater that is a cashmere and I'm like attracted to it, and that's what it's only usually 1 or 2 items. If it's a thrift store item, that might be a little bit different, and sometimes I will make concessions, but I try to limit that too, because I think that sometimes, I know for myself, and I'm only speaking for myself, it's very easy, especially thrifting, to just get caught up in, oh my God, this is such a great deal and this is really nice and I think I could use this later on. No, and then you end up bringing it home and it just sits and it sits and it sits and it sits and it does absolutely nothing but take up space. So no, I try to keep that to a minimum and just, you know, stick on budget each month, and if I find it and I meet the budget and I spend the money, done. No more shopping for the month. If for whatever reason over the course of the month I don't buy anything, great, it goes into the pot for next month. All good, right? But I think that one of the biggest things that, you know, big style is in terms of fashion on the budget is you've got to actually figure out what type of fashion you really want, or what type of style you want your fashions to reflect. And I think that helps in terms of streamlining what it is that you spend your money on, because you become very focused on, this is the look that I think will enhance the classics that I have in my closet, and then all of those interchangeable pieces that I can pair with the classics that I can then, you know, because I'm targeted on what my fashion focus is, I know will work and merge these two together, and then I have all of this, you know, all of this choice. I have all these choices that I can do with these particular items, and it works. And I think that it makes a lot of sense to be very conscientious of what it is you really want, and getting to a concrete understanding of what you really want. So I think that in the end, as you go through this, you know, whole process, or as I've gone through this whole process of trying to have this big style concept on a little budget or a balanced budget, it actually makes sense. It makes sense to be very targeted, and it also makes sense to sometimes, and I know, you know, I'm guilty of it, but it makes sense to just, you know, set the target, set a cash target of what you're willing to spend versus what you're not. A cash target actually is even better. But I think above all, you know, in the mix of all of this, I think the true value, it doesn't come from jeans, it doesn't come from whatever necklace that you picked up. It doesn't come from those nice things, because in the end, you know, we realize that with fashion, it's all great, and it's a super duper outfit, or it's a super duper, you know, look. But I think that the real angle is the person behind all of that. It just, you know, clothes don't change the person inside. So in the end, that's the conversation for today. It is possible to have big style, amazing style on a small or a targeted budget. So with that, you guys, like, comment, subscribe, leave your comments, what you think about it, and any feedback or feelings that you have about it, and what do you do, you know, in terms of purging your closet, or you know, having big style on a controlled budget, or you know, a budget, whatever that budget is for you. But thank you guys, I love you so much, and I will see you next Sunday. Love you guys. Bye.